Warning. The following fanfic reading contains Chapter 1 spoilers of Danganronpa V3. Viewer's discretion is advised. Even the brightest can break. Written by joinx. Miu felt restless. She was in a killing game. How could she not be restless? Her paranoia and anxiety was eating her alive, and due to that, she had not gotten a single wink of sleep throughout her whole stay at the academy. The inventor engrossed herself in her inventions in the meantime, but she knew that death was crawling closer with every second that went by due to the time limit placed on them. It was either kill or be killed. Miu wasn't fond of either idea, but she knew there was no other option, seeing how Monokuma, the Monokubs, and the Exosouls managed to work. Even her golden brain had a hard time coming up with something that can defeat all of that technology. But she did want to contribute. As much as she put on a facade of hatred and vulgarity, she did want to help somehow. Nobody wants to be in a situation where they get kidnapped and then forced to kill each other, or else they'll get killed themselves. So, that's why she helped Kaede and Shuichi with their cameras. She had no idea what the purpose of the cameras were, but she figured that it served a purpose of helping everyone escape. So she helped. She was reluctant, yes, but once she saw the two of them beg, she had then realized the significance of these cameras. Unless they were total creeps who wanted to spy on people, but Miu certainly doubted that. Well, maybe Shuichi would, but not Kaede. Oh, Kaede. She intrigued Miu. Miu figured it was probably because of her bold and optimistic attitude despite the shitty situation they were in. It was quite a feat to remain that positive in a space where they are told to murder each other, or else they'll be murdered themselves. She had no clue how Kaede could be that way. Maybe because Miu was naturally a paranoid pessimist who thought the worst case scenario. Miu had always been this way, ever since she had gained a sense of consciousness. But now her paranoia had become a reality, which increased the paranoia in itself. She knew she had to watch her back, but it was also hard to stay put when she was so restless. Which is what led her to aimlessly walk around the school building, carefully checking behind her and watching every corner she turned. The academy was quiet during nighttime, and she felt as if she could hear a pin drop from a mile away. It was eerily calming. At least it was the most calm that Miu could feel in the absurd situation that she was currently in. She liked being alone. She was not opposed to people, but she certainly wasn't good at socializing with them. It was obvious to her classmates as well, as whenever she spoke, she spat out vulgar insults and couldn't handle it when it was fired back at her. So, most of her time was spent alone for that very reason. She knew she couldn't spend all night wandering the halls of the academy. So, after a few laps around the school, she decided to head back to her dorm room. Her plan to walk around the academy was a success, as she did feel a surge of exhaustion, and she did not get murdered in the process. It was probably because everyone was asleep. Or, so she thought until she heard soft, quiet cries come from one of the dorm rooms. It took her a second to identify where the sound was coming from, until she came to the conclusion that it was the room directly next to hers, Kaede's. Kaede was the last person that Miu thought of. Why was she up at midnight and crying nonetheless? She seemed like the total opposite of that. There was a feeling in Miu that made her feel like she had to do something. Why did she feel this way? It wasn't in her nature to comfort others at all. but it seems as if Kaede felt like a different case to her. Without thinking, she walked over to Kaede's door and felt her arm freeze as she was about to knock. Thoughts rushed into her head, afraid that Kaede wouldn't want her here. She wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, or if Kaede was weirded out by Miu's sudden appearance. She tried to shake those thoughts out of her head and took a deep breath as she knocked a lot louder than she wished. The cries stopped abruptly, no doubt startled by the sudden pounding at the door. There was an awkward silence, with the crying silenced on the other end, and Miu waiting for something to happen. But nothing happened. So, she decided to take action herself and speak up.
Hey, Kaede, I was walking around and shit and heard you crying when I was heading back. I was gonna ask if you're good, but it seems like you're not. Unless you're crying out of pleasure, if you know what I mean.
Miu rambled, the ending of her sentence naturally coming out of her mouth. She also felt a pain of guilt for startling her.
Also, I'm sorry I pounded on the door like that. Pounding? Like pounding dick? That shit's funny as hell.
She cursed herself for instinctively adding vulgar remarks at the end of her sentences, but that stopped once she had heard the door unlock. Then, the door opened, and there stood Kaede, and she looked like absolute shit. Well, she looked like shit in a matter that it was obvious that she was crying, with her face red, eyes watery, and tears on her face. Her hair was messy and all over the place, with her music pins out of her hair. Miu thought that Kaede never naturally looked like shit. She was a pretty girl, as much as Miu didn't say it. She secretly felt as if she was the prettiest out of her classmates, but she shoved those feelings aside.
Wow, you look like shit.
Thanks, Kaede muttered, gesturing for Miu to come inside. Damn, she was trusting even when she was feeling like crap. It was a bad trait to have in this killing game. So, you said you wanted to comfort me. What's up with that? Kaede sniffled, running her hands through her hair.
Well, I do care about you, Kaede. If I hear you crying, I'm gonna be fucking concerned.
Miu spat out, not realizing that she admitted that she cared for the pianist standing right in front of her. Well, that's nice of you, but I seriously don't need anything. I'm fine. Kaede's voice shook, making it obvious that she was anything but fine.
Cowtits, you can't be serious. You are not fine in the slightest.
It's nothing, really. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You can go back to your room now.
Listen, Kaede, I wouldn't be here if I didn't give a fuck. My room is right next door. I'm here because I give a shit about you. If I thought it was nothing, I wouldn't be here. You better trust my damn golden brain and my intuition, Kaede.
Miu was vulgar in her words, but she did her best to express to Kaede that she would listen to her. It's nothing, seriously. Just this killing game getting to me. But it's getting to everyone, isn't it? Kaede sadly sighed, sitting down on her bed. Miu sat down next to her, with little distance between the two.
Hell, we're all fucking scared. But that doesn't mean that you can't talk to people about it. I give a shit.
Kaede frowned, causing Miu to internally panic, thinking she said something wrong. And it's just... everyone's relying on me to lead everyone now. Everyone's afraid, and now everyone's relying on me to do stuff. And if I freak out, it's gonna be on me. I already let everyone in that fake exit. Kaede used her sleeve to wipe the tears that were coming down her face. Miu patted her back, a gesture of affection despite her not knowing what to do. Nobody has ever relied on her as a leader before, so she couldn't put herself in Kaede's shoes.
You didn't hear this from me, but you're a pretty damn good leader in this situation. Everyone's stressed as hell. You're doing whatever the hell you can, Kaede.
Miu grinned in hopes that Kaede's mood would lighten. Kaede's eyes softened, as if she was not expecting Miu to say those words at all. It was only natural to not expect it, as Miu didn't say sincere thoughts often. But if she said it, she really meant it.
I know. You weren't expecting me to say that shit. But trust me, if I say it, you better believe I fucking mean it.
Miu added on, noticing Kaede's change in expression. The inventor watched as Kaede slightly smiled. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. You're nice when you try, Miu.
Don't get used to it, Kaede.
Miu snickered, making Kaede laugh as well. The two laughed together for a few moments, and then had winded down. Kaede had stopped crying, and the tears that were on her face had become dried stains on her cheeks. Seeing Kaede's genuine smile at Miu made her heart leap out of her chest. Miu truly found Kaede beautiful, as much as she wanted to deny that feeling. Even when she looked like a mess from crying, she was as beautiful as ever.
Are you feeling better?
Miu questioned, accidentally getting a bit too close to Kaede's face, but she didn't move away. Kaede looked into Miu's eyes, the inventor feeling her own cheeks heat up. Yeah, I think so. Being with you calmed me down a bit. Thank you, Miu.
Then the gorgeous girl genius's work here is done. I'll see you in the morning, Kaede.
Miu was about to get up until Kaede grabbed her hand. Wait, Miu.
The fuck do you want?
Can you stay? If that's okay. I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything. You can go back if you want to. I don't want to make you do anything. I'm just not sure if I want to be alone right now. Kaede stumbled on her words, and Miu felt like that was the first time she'd seen Kaede so unsure of herself in her speech. Miu howled in laughter, causing Kaede's eyes to widen.
You just can't get enough of me, huh? Sure, I'll stay and grace you with my presence.
Miu howled in laughter, attempting to hide the blush that was coming on her face. As she said that, she watched as Kaede's face got even redder. Miu's cocky expression changed into an embarrassed one as she realized Kaede was serious.
Fine. Yeah, I can stay. You should feel really lucky right now. So many people want to be in your position right now.
Miu laid down on Kaede's bed, grinning. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. There was a silence between them, a comforting type of silence. The comfort of having company, but not harmful company. Miu knew that Kaede didn't want to be alone, and deep down, Miu knew that she herself didn't want to be alone either. They found solace in each other's presence, knowing that there was someone to confide in during this bizarre situation. Miu was lost in her thoughts of Kaede, until the girl in question broke the silence between the two of them. Thank you, Miu. Miu had now realized Kaede laid down as well, and was next to Miu. Not to mention she was very close to her.
For what, Cowtets?
Miu's eyebrows raised in surprise. Kaede grabbed onto Miu's hand, and in response, Miu let out a soft squeal. For trying to make sure I'm okay. For someone who acts so tough, you seriously can't be a softie.
No, stop making shit up. I'm not.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm serious. You coming here meant a lot to me.
Coming. Like come?
Kaede's face turned from a smile to a deadpan, as if she was trying to say, "Are you serious?" Miu's smirk went right off of her face as Kaede's expression scolded her. Kaede continued to talk when Miu stopped her antics.
I'm thankful for your company. Nobody's ever gone out of their way for me like this before.
Fuck. You're serious? Nobody? Absolutely nobody has done this shit for you? I find that hard to believe. Everyone fucking loves you, idiot.
Yeah, I'm serious. Nobody has gone out of their way to talk to me like this. This is the first time someone has asked how I'm feeling, instead the other way around. I'm usually asking others how they feel.
Miu watched as Kaede's face grew into a frown.
Christ, Kaede. You don't always need to hide your fucking feelings. If you bottle it up, you're just gonna go nuts.
Miu commented as she felt Kaede's hand squeeze hers.
It's alright. I'm used to it.
You don't have to get used to it, though. But I get it. It's fucking hard to trust people in this place.
Miu sat up, staring right at Kaede. Miu's voice had a tone of uncertainty, as comforting people was not something she did particularly often. Her social skills sucked, and she knew it.
Yeah, but you easily came in here. What's up with that? You seem like you would want to avoid me. No offense, but you're the last person I thought would come here.
Kaede followed Miu's actions and sat up herself, crossing her legs.
Don't think about it too much, alright, Cow Tits? You were crying and I wanted to make you feel better. Is it that big of a fucking deal?
Alright.
Kaede laughed, laying her head on Miu's shoulder.
The fuck are you doing, Kaede?
Miu growled, her body heating up.
You're comfy.
Well, fine. Nobody can resist me anyways.
Miu cackled with a cocky smile. Kaede rolled her eyes.
Yeah, sure.
There were moments of silence between them, and then Miu heard soft snoring from Kaede. Miu stood as still as she could, terrified that she'd wake Kaede up. The inventor could tell that Kaede needed the rest. She could see her eye bags and the tear stains on her face. She waited a few minutes to see if Kaede would get up, but it seemed as if Kaede fell into an even deeper sleep as time went on.
Alright, Kaede. You need to lay down.
Miu spoke, knowing that Kaede wasn't listening due to her deep sleep. She decided to softly lay Kaede down, putting her head on her pillow and blanket over her body. She saw how peaceful Kaede looked as she slept, and it was then she realized how much she loved her. Miu planted a soft kiss on Kaede's forehead, who stirred slightly in response, but then fell back into sleep.
I love you, Kaede. I'll see you tomorrow.
Miu grinned, heading back to her room next door. And as she threw herself on her bed, Miu realized that Kaede wasn't as composed as she came off as. She could break as much as Miu could, and seeing Kaede break under this pressure, she realized she wanted to get out of this place more than ever.
And my $10 patrons are Chaotic Mist and 212th Trooper. thank you so much for donating $10 a month to my Patreon. Hey everyone, Agent Fluffy here, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to support me even more, feel free to support my Patreon. The links are right here.